A very warm welcome. You're watching News 9 Live and the latest developments, shifting our focus to Surat, where the court has pronounced its verdict today on Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's plea, which was seeking a stay on his conviction in the criminal defamation case. The case was filed over his remark on the Modi surname. Now, Rahul Gandhi was able to secure a bail on the 3rd of April in the particular case. Whilst granting bail to the former MP, the court also issued notices to complainant Purnesh Modi and the state government on the Congress leader's plea for a stay on his conviction. It heard both the parties and reserved the order for today. Rahul Gandhi was a Lok Sabha MP from Wayanad but was disqualified after a lower court in Surat sentenced him to 2 years in jail on the 23rd of March. That particular plea by Rahul Gandhi seeking a stay on that conviction has been dismissed by a Surat court. Joining me in the studio to discuss more on this is my colleague Kartikeya Sharma and political editor Brijesh Pandey also with us. Kartikeya, how are you reading this? Another blow to Rahul Gandhi's moves?
I think it's embarrassment, it's a blow, and I would say, Kabir, that it creates problem of perception for Rahul Gandhi. You see, Rahul Gandhi has no problem in context of his political existence. He has a party to hold on to. He has got his leaders and workers who support him. There are people in civil society who would say that he's a martyr. There are people within the, I would say, in his political ecosystem, no pun intended, who would say that, you know, the courts have not done their job properly. But Rahul Gandhi gets a perception problem. And the reason why I'm saying is Rahul Gandhi gets a perception problem is ultimately, you see, we have to understand that courts have dismissed his plea, which means that Rahul Gandhi, and I beg to be corrected, he will need to approach the upper courts, higher courts. Now, in time he approached the, he approaches the higher court. The question is Rahul Gandhi being perceived as a martyr, or is Rahul Gandhi being taught a lesson? Now, these are issues of political battle. His opponents would obviously not make a martyr out of him. They would say that he is a royal brat who has been taught a lesson by the court, the law of the land. The Congress party would like to project that, well, the various independent institutions are being managed by Prime Minister Modi, or it's being managed by the BJP government, and that is why Rahul Gandhi is a casualty of his anti-Modi trade, anti-Modi point he has taken. So, you know, Brijesh, you know, I was just thinking when this story broke that Rahul Gandhi will have his options open. You know, you have a battery of lawyers, but will Rahul Gandhi be able to create an image of martyr now? Will he be taken as a politician who is being actually pushed around by various institutions? Will that image go? Because ultimately now it's a he's not an MP anymore. He has to go to the courts. He has not been quick like other people who immediately went to the High Court. He went to the same court. He didn't, you know, he didn't go for the quashing of the issue. Now, in this case, it becomes really complex for him. How Rahul will be perceived, because for me, the story is not legal at all. It's not a legal story. Our friends may you know, have a different view. I think it's a pure play political story. What opposition makes of him, what his own party makes of him.
That shows strength in the Indigo flight as well. When he went to Surat, you know, the BJP quickly clamping down on that as well. Why do you need a show of strength just to appear before the court? So, I mean, of course, you know, a game of perceptions. Brijesh, how about you? Do you think Rahul Gandhi is being sidelined as a pushover?
Well, I don't think he's been sidelined or a pushover, because, you know, there were a lot of apprehension also, you know, about the judge as well, you know, about it, that he was a lawyer and all, and there was a lot of chatter on the social media as well. So Congress was slightly circumspect about the decision. The fact remains that the original case, where, you know, where Rahul Gandhi has been sentenced 2 years, which is the maximum punishment in the defamation case, you know, that was something which was unheard of. I mean, never before in the history. I mean, maybe max 1 or 2 cases, but I don't think anybody in the history has been given this maximum punishment for this kind of utterances. And, you know, law is pretty much clear on this, that just because, you know, that particular Modi which he has named, if he comes and files a defamation, that's there. But not any Modi can come and claim that, you know, his morality has been hurt. Last time you say a politician is a thief, so any politician can't just get up and say that, you know, you've hurt my, you have defamed me, you have hurt my sentiments, so you should be put behind bars. Is that acceptable? I mean, you cannot do it. It's just not possible. So this, but this definitely is a setback. But I don't think that, you know, that it is going to dent Rahul Gandhi in any which way, because what had to be dented, or the first perception which was created on the day when the first judgment came out, which saw him being disqualified and deprived of his Lok Sabha membership from the Lok Sabha.
So a situation where essentially Rahul Gandhi seems like has hit rock bottom. There's no more area.
Not exactly. I would say, you know, he's free to approach a higher court, a superior court, and he will approach a high court tomorrow.
Don't you think? I think he's already at rock bottom. You know, in terms of his political weight, the party which had 200 plus seats, featured as the prime ministerial candidate. You know, Mr. Gandhi is already at rock bottom. There is, I mean to say, what do you expect from a grand old party? It's in 2 digits. You don't have a leader of opposition. You lose your seat. You lose your house. You are back from where you started from. So much of effort went in Bharat Jodo Yatra. People really praised him for that. That has gone down the drain. You know, you made a speech, it turned into national, anti-national issue. And then finally, when you came back to the parliament, you weren't allowed to speak. And then, you know, the parliament was a washout. And now then the court thing happened. When the court thing happened, you thought that you'll perhaps milk it for, perhaps they felt that they would strategize to make a martyr after Rahul Gandhi. And now the court says, BJP can always say that, well, it's the decision of the court. What are we supposed to do with this? Because they'll make it, you know, Rahul Gandhi versus court, because there is a sort of a narrative, you know, this versus narrative has become globally very strong, you know, you don't discuss.
But the perception of something being fishy here, what Brijesh was also talking about, you know, a criminal defamation case, maximum punishment.
You see, you know, the fishy thing, let me tell you, this fishy thing is a very dangerous business. Even Trump supporters spoke about the fishy thing.
No, but
Rupert Murdoch ended up paying $787 million yesterday in Washington because
there's another piece that says Rupert Murdoch, that's not even the closest that he has faced in terms of defeats when it comes to money settlements.
But the point is that there's a difference between a fake news and difference between the set of laws. You know, the law is very clear on that. You know, we have seen how, you know, judgments have been overturned by superior courts and a complete turnaround when it came to various cases. And the fact of the matter also is that, you know, that this particular case where, you know, the same gentleman who went for the went to claim that he has been defamed also went to High Court to stay get a stay on the same case, and he only went and vacated the stay, you know, when the judge changed.
There is no doubt, and there is no doubt that Rahul Gandhi will see a sort of a different verdict in High Court and Supreme Court. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that. But I feel that, you know, when we say Rahul, I think it's about politics now. You know, it's an election, you know, 2024.
It has been. See, it's always about politics, and that is the reason why, Karthikeya, you know, Congress, which is otherwise very quick to go to court, chose to deliberately delay it by at least 10-12 days. They didn't decide to go to approach court at all till some reality dawned on them that, you know, it may lead for a larger game plan, which is 6 years of debarment. You cannot contest election.
I don't know what,
that is the reason why
they want to make the Dadichir issue of Rahul Gandhi for electoral gains, you know, in caveats. It's an ancient story where a rishi had to give his bones to fight a demon.
You got to cut your own losses. I remember you telling us
so
that.
I mean to say that, you know, it's very surprising, you know, when you meet a lot of Congress supporters or when you meet people who mean well for the Congress party. The only thing I hear, you know, in the drawing room conversation, yeah, let's hope, you know, he doesn't make a controversial statement in Karnataka. I mean, so you got a leader, and you wish that he doesn't speak out of turn. You know, you want your leader to speak, you know, everywhere. Here, people are slightly afraid that, you know, he shouldn't speak too much. So I think these are the issues they need to decide. I feel slightly sad the fact that Mr. Gandhi came around, you know, he turned around. I covered BJY, and you don't need to cover a yatra to understand what's happening actually in the world of social media. You know, he looked different, he spoke differently. You know, his social media strategy was different. You know, he gave interviews to the YouTubers. He didn't go mainstream. I think it worked for him. It's pretty ironic. I won't use the word sad because I'm a journalist. It's pretty ironic, you know, things quickly turn around in politics. Mr. Gandhi, who could have actually sustained on that momentum, because if I'm not wrong, you know, he also spoke about the fact that he will do a yatra from east to the west, and that would have, you know, taken Rahul Gandhi from Assam Himanta Biswa Sarma's state,
Turf.
to Mamta's state, to Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, parts of Bundelkhand. You know, the yatra would have gone like this, which is Madhya Pradesh, and then again a big part of Haryana, Punjab, and Rajasthan. You know, he could have, but you know, this is something which I would say that. It's just, you can say it's bad luck. People can say that you know, you have people in the system who take positions. A lot of people in past said, you know, CGI shouldn't become Rajya Sabha members. But you know, our system is such, it's a broken system. You know, I personally feel that after TN session, all political parties have broken our independent system. You know, you had this one election commissioner, now you have 3 election commissioner, and Mr. Gill went on to become the sports minister of this country. He got a Rajya Sabha. So I think it also reflects, I think something, yes, there is something broken in the system. I completely agree with Brijesh. There's no doubt. And it's broken at multiple levels, whether it's police, we were discussing in context of, I think, Atiq. And, you know, whether it's lower judiciary, no one killed Jessica Lal was the headline of a mighty newspaper in Delhi. And, you know, ultimately she got justice from the higher court. But then that was a criminal case, and this is political. I would say that Mr. Gandhi will have to do political damage control.
See, I honestly speaking, if you ask me, I don't see that there is, you know, whatever personal political backfoot he had to be was there on the first case itself. I don't think that this is going to further damage his credibility or his situation, whichever way. But I personally feel that yes, Congress has to be serious about this case, because you know, one of the things is that apart from losing your current membership, it also bars you from contesting election for another 6 years. So that is the danger zone which Rahul Gandhi had to. And I think, you know, the best thing for the Gandhi family, if I'd say, or the Congress party, is that election in Karnataka is just round the corner. On 13th of May, which is like, you know, 20-25 days later, the result will be out. And if the Congress is able to perform better, then I think a lot of, you know, recalibration would be done vis-a-vis how the Congress party functions or where Rahul Gandhi leadership stands. But till now, I mean, you know, Rahul Gandhi has gained a lot of traction, good amount of positive traction in Bharat Jodo Yatra. He squandered it in his speeches in Cambridge. Then when he came back, you know, see, you have to be consistent. You can have a 1 off day, you know, 2 off day, but you cannot have like, you know, 70, 80 off days, which kind of mars the remaining good work which you have done. So they are on a good solid footing as far as the state of Karnataka is concerned. And you know, by and large, I personally believe that the only way you can gauge whether a politician has done good or bad is the result. And if they're able to win this election, then I think it'll do a world of good for the confidence of the Congress party, which is at its nadir.
You know, there's a sometimes, you know, political actions or the consequences of political actions are delayed. And this is happening twice in the history of the Congress party. If you look at the problems of UPA, because, you know, everything generally is stemming from UPA 2. The problem of UPA 2 actually stemmed from the decisions made during UPA 1, but never part of the electoral process. The decisions taken by DMK, decisions taken on the spectrum and all that. You know, these are all the decisions made by Rahul Gandhi before 2019. You know, we tend to forget, you know, these are not post-2019 statements of Mr. Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi has already restricted himself to Savarkar and other issues, you know. He has not gone hammer and tong. He has criticized RSS, he has been overboard on RSS, but he has not gone after them. I think, you know, the way Prime Minister went after, then as the Prime Ministerial aspirant, went after Gandhi's Shehzade. You know, Rahul Gandhi was completely brutalized during that campaign, you know. You know, the BJP literally cannibalized him. Rahul, I think in retrospect, I feel that Rahul Gandhi tried to deploy the same tactic, you know, corrupt, Chaukidar, Chor, Modi, calling him by name. And if you look at the way Congress party is behaving, where it is either winning or whether it stands the chance to win, it doesn't go after Modi. You know, this is a consequence of Modi. Every time you pin your politics on Modi. You look at election campaign in Himachal, there was no Modi. I was reading a couple of articles today morning, Brijesh, and I found that, you know, the whole election campaign in Karnataka is not about Modi or Lingayat. It's about money to women. It's about food, limited food availability. It's about some medical scheme, and it's about some reservation. So it's like Labharti politics. the welfareism. So Congress works on welfareism and let us sort of like easy politics. BJP is like Hindutva led with development or development led with Hindutva.
I'm sorry to cut you short. I'm being told there are some reactions that are coming in. Let's quickly cut across to
મોદી
this.
સમસ્ત ગુજરાતી મોડ મોદી સમાજના કાર્યકારી પ્રમુખની જવાબદારી અને સાથે સાથે ભાજપના અમે ધારાસભ્ય નીચલી અદાલતે શ્રીમાન રાહુલ ગાંધીને 2 વર્ષની સજાનો ફેસલો સુનાવ્યા પછી 3 તારીખે સેશન્સ કોર્ટમાં શ્રીમાન રાહુલ ગાંધીજીએ અપીલ કરી હતી. 13 તારીખે એની દલીલ થઈ. આજનો જે ચુકાદો હતો એમાં મળતી માહિતી મુજબ શ્રીમાન રાહુલ ગાંધીજીની જે અરજી હતી એ કોર્ટે રિજેક્ટ કરી છે. એ માહિતી મને મળી છે. વધુ માહિતી જજમેન્ટ અને કોર્ટ્સ પેપર આવ્યા પછી અમે જણાવીશું. ધન્યવાદ.
आज कोर्ट ने स्टे एप्लीकेशन रिजेक्ट कर दिया. जो मनाई अर्जी थी, हमने कन्विक्शन पे राहुल जी ने मनाई डिमांड करी थी, मनाई रिक्वेस्ट करी थी, वो कोर्ट ने सिंपल रिजेक्ट कर दी. कोई रीजन नहीं दिए है कोर्ट ने. रीजन कोर्ट शाम को देगी.
Well, so even as we heard the complainant Purnesh Modi over there, let's get a couple of things straight. The foundation of the case is something that is being argued. The lawyers community is certainly divided over that. And even as we, wait for the social media brigade of the Congress party to come out with those tweets on the microblogging website saying, "Ye to sher hai, sher kisi se nahi darta," and all those tweets must be surfacing any minute now. What we've come to the conclusion is that he has hit rock bottom.
Not only share thing, Kabir. Mera ghar aapka ghar hai. That will also be there.
Absolutely. So if he has certainly hit rock bottom, the only way now is up, isn't it? So what next for Rahul Gandhi?
I think I would say, Kabir, you are a perennial optimist.
No, this is rock bottom is that you have to redefine rock bottom. See, the point is that there are 3 categories of people. One genre of people are people who commit mistake and they don't learn from the mistake. The second set of people are people who commit mistake and learn from the mistake. The wisest are those, who learn from other people's making mistake and learn from them. The point is that Rahul Gandhi or the Congress, well, it's a very open, this thing, you can make an intelligent guess as to where Rahul Gandhi find him. The point is that if a party has been saying something, like if I have been abusing you or trying to, try to build a narrative against you and I have been unsuccessful, election after election. So how many elections will it take for me to realize this? That going after Modi or trying to build a narrative against Modi is not going to work for me. How many elections? Election in Gujarat, then again election in several other places, then general election, then again several elections, then again a general election, and yet what are you doing? You are building a narrative against Modi. He said he read an article today. I'll give you an example of Bihar election, where Tejasvi Yadav, despite being maximum provocation, Tejasvi Yadav did not even for a second deviated from the lack of employment for youth and how there should be education, job, unemployment. He stuck to those 3. And he never for once deviated and made him from a young kid trying to find his way because his father was behind bars and all, to a very mature person and undisputed leader in the RJD. That is how you learn from your mistake. Seems the Congress party is unable to learn from its mistake, and even when they, narrative after narrative has failed with an alarming regularity, they're still going after the same narrative. Is like, it's pretty much mind-boggling.
There is something which I would like to add here, and that is, if you recall, Tejasvi did not deviate from the script, but Mr. Gandhi did.
Yes, he did.
In that rally which he did with Tejasvi, he spoke about the Prime Minister. He spoke about the RSS.
That is why I'm saying, I'm sticking to only Tejasvi. But the problem with Rahul Gandhi is that, it's good to have, notions and all, and, that you stand for this particular kind of politics or you stand for another.
So what a peculiar predicament for Mallikarjun Kharge then. I mean, you've got a ticking time bomb in Rahul Gandhi that you don't want to go on stage without a properly choreographed script. And on the other hand, you have nobody else but Rahul Gandhi as the face, the poster boy of the Congress party?
I don't think so. I don't agree with this. I'm a firm believer that, when it comes to taking on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, it's all thing regional. And I've said this not once but several times, be it regional parties or the regional leaders of national party, which is Congress party.
I remember,
Siddaramaiah and DK Shiv Kumar have taken on and defeated BJP when it was like the fight of the clash of titans. You remember that when the flow test was called for, and there was a last man entering, DK Shiv Kumar walking in with a MLA. And then the second phase was BSY sitting on the floor of the house. Those were powerful pictures. There were also lessons in history.
Well, another reaction I'm being told by the BJP. Let's quickly cut across to that.
Party who is governing the country is telling मोदी जी का आशीर्वाद नहीं मिलेगा, नहीं चाहिए ऐसा 40% कमीशन खोरों का आशीर्वाद. We don't want that. अगर मोदी जी का आशीर्वाद का अर्थ ये है कि 40% कमीशन की जो सरकार है उस पे आंखें बंद करना मोदी जी का आशीर्वाद है, तो सूर्य देवता ऐसा आशीर्वाद से पूरे कर्नाटक को वंचित रखते हैं.
In order to the disturbance caused because of senior leaders leaving, they're asking BJP to declare Lingat as a CM candidate. BJP will saying that let Congress also declare Lingat as CM candidate.
Bharatiya Janata Party is not having neither leader, तो ना तो नेता है, ना नीति है, ना नियत. All three are absent there. On the name of leader, they are going to some film heroines. On the name of Niti, their Niti is 40% commission. On the name of Niyat, their own leaders. I am not saying. BJP sitting MLA is saying that Bomai is 40% commission agent. I had heard about LIC agents. I had heard about the general insurance company agent. But this 40% commission agent, which is a term used by BJP MLA, Mr. Nehru Olekar for Bomai, I don't know. This is a new term we are hearing in the state.
Well, it's not the BJP, Gaurav Vallabh over there. But then again, the 40% Sarkara Commission, that particular campaign, it wasn't the Pay PM campaign, it was the Pay CM campaign that worked out for the Congress party. So again, coming back to what we were discussing, not targeting the Prime Minister is going to work out for the Congress party?
There is an issue there. I had a conversation a long time back with Mr. Harish Khare, former advisor to the Dr. Manmohan Singh. And he, at a particular point of time, I think last Gujarat election, he told me that, we need to break down, Congress needs to, in his opinion, break down elections seat by seat. Because, they cannot fight Modi in Gujarat, So even if I stress this logic and I say, bhai, election ko seeton mein tod do, Modi ko hatao as a big factor. Rahul Gandhi, had a different sort of a thing. He felt at a particular point of time, unless and until you take down Modi, or unless and until you take down the core of its ideology, RSS, Savarkar and all that, it's not going to work. You can't duck away from the cultural issues because they are fighting elections on culture. But then, that was like a counter to a narrative. It was not in itself a narrative building. Congress worked well because it was not giving a counter narrative to BJP. It had its own narrative. Today, BJP, RSS, they have their own narrative, which is development plus Hindutva plus, which is like I would say mobile plus Hindutva plus development plus market. So it's market, mobile, Hindutva, development, it's all that. Congress needs to create its own narrative. So I think that this mini narrative has worked in Himachal Pradesh. I'm not very excited about it because that mini narrative is not a national narrative. But if Congress can create a national narrative, then Mr. Gandhi has a place. But right now, Mr. Gandhi, I would say that, can I have this cup of tea? Please. Thank you. So, Mr. Gandhi can be politically credible without being in parliament. We have had leaders who couldn't win elections, but they were credible. Ambedkar also, I'm not comparing Rahul Gandhi with Ambedkar, but Ambedkar lost elections. Jayaprakash Narayan was not in Lok Sabha when everyone rallied around him. Even Ram Manohar Lohia was not going to parliament again. Even in Jansan, at its prime, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, he also lost elections. But then, he had his credibility. So I would say that credibility is divorced from your parliamentary win. So that much I am pretty sure that Rahul Gandhi can have its own credibility despite being disqualified.
But Kartikeya, I would differ from you. When you speak of the word credibility comes not like, just because you have a face or you believe in something, but you also be seen to be, doing something. Rahul Gandhi, the kind of flip-flop he has over a period of years, he never came across as a serious person. He always wanted a share of power without enduring the burden of, actually having the power and exercise duties which dovetails with it. So you cannot be like,
You're trying to preach to the converted.
Outsider. No, I'm not trying to preach. I'm just saying that,
you converted.
You cannot be an outsider, yet you cannot claim the power or want to have the powers of something which is going on. You cannot tear the ordinance and yet claim that, oh, my government is doing well. So you cannot be like, an insider and an outsider just for the optics. You have to be somebody who is regular at what he does. I mean, this is the fourth or the fifth attempt.
Consistency is a problem for Rahul Gandhi.
That is the reason why Bharat Jodo Yatra worked.
I think that's the biggest
because
irony.
He was consistent for the first time in his political life for 3 months.
I think this is the biggest irony. Let me take Vijay's arguments a little forward. You see, if you look at Rahul Gandhi's tenure in Parliament and in position of power when he held some office within the Congress party. अच्छा जयराम रमेश का आ गया ट्वीट वी विल कंटिन्यू टू अवेल ऑल ऑप्शन स्टिल अवेलेबल टू अस अंडर द लॉ. तो जयराम जी ने अपना ट्वीट किया है. तो बट लेट मी कंटिन्यू विद इट. दीस ट्वीट्स विल कंटिन्यू टू कम. राहुल गांधी की कोशिश हमेशा ये रही है कि सत्ता में रह के वो अपने आप को आउटसाइडर करें. देखिए वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग. कभी हमको ये चीज समझनी पड़ेगी कि पॉलिटिक्स के नियम बदल गए 2014 के बाद. And it has become a very different country. Outsiders, and this is not my word. Again, I will give this credit to Kapil Sibal. We were having this conversation. He had invited a couple of journalists to his residence, and he said one thing. He said, Karthike, remember one thing. Politics का एक nature होता है. Nature बदल गया. मैंने कहा सर कैसे बदल गया? He said, देखो यार, outsiders are the new insiders, and insiders are the new outsiders. ऐसे मतलब क्या है? He said, people who are coming with legacy. माहौल बदल गया. लोगों को लगता है कि यार वो लोग लाओ जो नए हैं. So he was explaining in context of Kejriwal and Modi, and he said, or you burn your credentials, you get kicked around so much, people gain, people have sympathy for you. And that also came out to be true. Like Jagan Mohan Reddy, he's an insider. He's not an outsider. He was MP when Jagan Mohan Vaisa Reddy was the chief minister, but he got kicked around so much by the Congress party and then BJP also, that he became a leader, neta ban gaya. So either you have that, or like Mamata Banerjee ka rise kaise hua? She got kicked around so much, that those iconic photographs of.
There's a saying na that bina mare jannat nahi milti.
हाँ, बिना मरे जन्नत नहीं मिलती है.
So the more you hate, the shield, the more stronger it gets.
It is not about hate. See, Kabir, it is about how much you are willing to invest in a cause you believe. Are you willing to invest that much? Has Rahul Gandhi invested that much? No, he didn't. You cannot be, no, I don't want to be the Prime Minister, I don't want to be the party president, yet I want to be the one who calls the shot. How do you explain this dichotomy? Mamata Banerjee says, no, I will want to be the leader of my party, I will call the shots and I'll take all the blames as well as I'll take all the
Well,
blames.
has he done enough? Let's take that question to Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst who's joining us here on the broadcast. Tehseen, we're talking about the battle of perceptions. What about Rahul Gandhi's credibility now? What next for Rahul Gandhi? We were discussing if at all he's hit rock bottom. The only way seems to be up, but consistency is another problem for Mr. Gandhi.
Good morning, Kabir, and good morning to Karthike and Brajesh. So wonderful to be with you all again this morning. I was hearing the conversation Karthike and Brajesh were having, and to an extent, they are right that there could be a perception of consistency with Rahulji, but that's not the reason why he's been convicted. Correct? The law works on what is being said. Whether Rahulji has been consistent or no, whether Rahulji has taken positions that have been against the party line and an outsider insider, that's not why he's been convicted. He's been convicted for making a political speech in a rally in Karnataka. Now, everything about this conviction, in my humble opinion, with respect to the court before whose majesty I bow, is open to challenge and I think will be overturned. I say this with responsibility. In the higher courts, my belief is in the Honorable Supreme Court is where Rahulji will get released. Shri Lalit Modi ji, Shri Nirav Modi ji are not part of the OBC community. Absolutely not. A speech is made in Karnataka. Somebody staying in Surat gets offended and goes to a court. Rahulji is not staying in Gujarat. Everybody knows that he stays in Delhi. There's not even a magistrate's inquiry. So many aspects which are written law set down by multiple benches of the Honorable Supreme Court, in my opinion, have been overlooked and continue to be overlooked. So I think this will be challenged and he will get relief in the Honorable Supreme Court. That's my belief. Let's come to a larger issue that Brajesh was making. So Brajesh, just to fact check you on one thing with respect, Rahulji did not tear the ordinance. He suggested that the ordinance should not go through. That's a suggestion he made. But I agree with the point Karthike made, particularly about Kapil Sibal ji. there is a problem with the Congress, and the Congress, in my opinion, and this is again my opinion, is not politically still that savvy. The Congress needs to be politically more savvy. So somebody in this situation, like Kartikeya Singh, a Jayaprakash Narayan, or even a Jagan, they would have taken absolute advantage of this. There is a lot of sympathy in the public for Rahul Ji, even amongst BJP voters. They don't believe Rahul Ji should be disqualified for this. The Congress organization has not been able to encash this. If this would happen to any other leader, say for example Sharad Pawar Ji, Mamata Banerjee, Amit Shah Ji, you would have seen people on the street. So the Congress leadership needs to be on the ground. I think that is the fundamental mistake. This image of Rahul Ji that you're showing right now with him walking, except for Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary Ji, show me other Lok Sabha leaders around him. That is the problem. So you need ground level leaders who can fight. I'm saying politically, please don't misconstrue me, because nowadays you get trolled for anything, who can fight politically on the ground. That is what you need.
Absolutely right. K.C. Venugopal has gone to Rajya Sabha. He is right. Pramod Tiwari has given up his seat for Mona, his daughter. See, I agree with Tehseen, but you see the point I was trying to make, when I had that conversation with Kapil. So when he said that insiders are the outsiders and outsiders are the insiders, Rahul Gandhi's quest for last 20 years has been to be an outsider. When he tore that ordinance, what was he saying? I am an outsider. Okay, I'll give you one more example. 2006 में क्या हुआ था कि कांग्रेस में बैठकें लगनी शुरू हुई. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is like a new kid on the block right now in the central politics. You had people like Mr. Das Munshi, Arjun Singh, the heavyweights, Natwar Singh, the bench. And they would come to Congress and they would interview. He said, let's get outsiders, I'll create a new Congress party. A lot of people said, this is not the way Youth Congress has functioned, Youth Congress is a way where central leaders directly appoint people, and these people do not come from any political background or strong political background, but they become loyal to the system, direct system. That's what Sanjay Gandhi, Indira Gandhi did. So you can appoint people who you like if you think they are talented. But what happened in the process was, and you might be surprised what does it has to do with his politics, but there's a lot of things to do with his politics. The unintended consequence was that it brought money into Youth Congress. तो हुआ ये कि भाई जो लड़के जिनको जगह मिल रही थी यूथ कांग्रेस में दूर दराज के, वहां सब पैसा लगने लगा, तो सिस्टम टूट गया. आप देख रहे हैं ना जो बात बोली तहसीन ने कि वेयर आर दी मेंबर्स ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, यंग पीपल, वो सिस्टम कैसे टूटा? वो सिस्टम इन्होंने तोड़ दिया, वो सारा का सारा. बट आई डोंट वांट टू ब्लेम एवरीथिंग ऑन मिस्टर गांधी, क्योंकि एक पार्टी का भी मोमेंटम होता है, पार्टी क्रिएट्स इट्स ओन मोमेंटम वे बाय पीपल बिकम कैजुअलिटी. सो ही इज ऑल्सो ही गॉट समथिंग फ्रॉम द पार्टी, ही बिकेम अ कैजुअलिटी ऑफ इट. बट द लार्जर इशू इज कि राइट नाउ हमारे हिसाब से भाई राहुल गांधी की अभी यूटिलिटी क्या है? Can he unite the opposition? Sonia is aging, I don't think, she has that wherewithal in terms of physical stamina, which is required, to walk and all that. It's not possible. She is not Sonia of 2004. Can she unite people, Can he lead from the back, Because Rahul Gandhi cannot become a sore point. He cannot afford to be that now. He is very politically vulnerable. This judgment makes him vulnerable. He can get his Lok Sabha back and all that, but it makes him vulnerable. Rahul Gandhi needs to reacquire the aura of a fighter with foot finally on the ground, He cannot be seen like आप गए राजस्थान में महंगाई की रैली पे, आप आए 40 दिन बाद महंगाई की रैली होनी थी, आपने साबरकर पे बोल दिया. So my point is simple, that this debate, we have this like a dead horse debate, consistent hai, nahi consistent hai, kahan jate hain, kya karte hain, that is not an issue. Issue is India deserves a vibrant national opposition. Congress,
but Kartik, see, there's a difference also. See, the point is that that you cannot have this ultimate dichotomy being played out 24/7, where you are an insider, you want to be an outsider, yet you want to be have all the trappings of an insider. That just doesn't work. It's called, for lack of better word, it's called hypocrisy in politics. Rahul Gandhi, all the time, when you're talking about something, but do you have the requisite stature? The talk of let's get youth into it, let's get youth into the party. What's this obsession with youth is something you start discarding someone like say Ahmed Patel just by saying that he's close to my mother. Let's build a new party. Let's build a young Congress.
Let's bring this home. Tehseen is a political outsider. so was his brother. I'll ask this question to Tehseen. I have known him, so the question comes with a disclaimer. It's not as if he's just a panelist. I know him personally. Tehseen, tell me, you started defending Congress, and if I recall, you defended Congress when the first anti-corruption tirade took place, that campaign took place by India Against Corruption, and Kejriwal and Anna Hazare were sitting in Jantar Mantar. How invited you felt by the same party? Tell me. You were a rank political outsider. I saw you. You came on your own. वहां खड़े होके बाइट दिए. कितने लोग थे कांग्रेस के?
खुद के पैसे से.
और कहां खुद के पैसे थे तो कितना अंदर घुस पाए इस पार्टी के, बताइए.
मैं बोलता हूं आपको, Karthikeyan, since I know you, there was a Congress MP who dreamed of becoming chief minister of an important union territory. उन्होंने मुझे नाश्ते पर बुलाया और कहा आप क्यों इस पर्टिकुलर कांग्रेस एमपी को डिफेंड कर रहे हो और चीफ मिनिस्टर को डिफेंड कर रहे हो, क्योंकि CWG was about a Congress MP and a Congress chief minister. So I said, but they're Congress leaders and they haven't done wrong. CWG was a brilliant game. And before that, I was defending Shashi Tharoorji with Sunanda Ji, the allegations that were made. So these were when I started. And I said, these are ridiculous and we should not give in. And Shashi Tharoorji should not have resigned. There is no evidence. And now if they've tasted blood, they are going after this particular MP and they'll taste blood. And this MP from who aspired to be chief minister actually went all out against me over breakfast. He was so upset with me that I was defending a Congress MP and a Congress chief minister. Because he dreamt of being chief minister. That is the problem in the Congress. And he continues to be close. I mean, that MP won't even win a Rajya Sabha election. Now, to hawa mein to jeet jate, but ye hota hai. That's the problem. They don't. That is, even, Karthikeyan, I don't know if you remember this one conversation. I remember very clearly, I was driving past the Prime Minister's, then Prime Minister's house, and you were standing outside, and I stopped to meet you, and you told me that somebody from Pune has come to meet the Prime Minister. This is February 2011 winter. And I asked who, and you said Anna Hazare. And we laughed, you and I, because Anna Hazare in Pune is not important. And suddenly you had the Congress party according Anna Hazare so much protocol and stature and raising him, because those in the ecosystem didn't know that Anna Hazare was not important. You could have asked a local level Pune corporator to deal with the issue.
If I may interject just for a second, Tehseen, because I was also privy to a conversation where my senior had called chief minister of the state where Anna Hazare was a nobody, and he laughed his heart out and he said, I just bow before the, I won't use the word, I would say a more mild word, that before the grand stupidity of media as well as my own party about the way they have made or catapulted Anna Hazare into a national phenomena where otherwise we in Maharashtra would have him for breakfast.
So I'll tell you a story. It's just I'm writing a book, but I have to tell you the story. I don't know how true or false it is, but Anna Hazare is continuously done these protests, did this protest before this Delhi protest in Maharashtra, and nobody would pay attention. When he protested in Mumbai after the first Delhi Jantar Mantar protest, I was on record and Ram Gopal Verma tweeted it, that there were more people outside Salman Khan's house because it was Salman Khan's birthday than at Anna Hazare's protest in Mumbai, because we know who these people were. And I don't blame the media. Look, media is a visual medium. That's another problem with the Congress. The Congress doesn't understand media even today. They get very aggressive with the media. Media is a visual medium. Why did the media cover Bharat Jodo if it was so anti? Because it was a visual medium. 6 baje se visuals aa rahe the, Rahul ji chal rahe the, alag-alag kisam ke log aa rahe the, they are meeting him, there's movement. Media is about visuals. Prime Minister gives them visuals. It's not sold out. You have to understand how media works. In the age of digital media, a print media ke concepts dal do. Therefore, you're not getting the media coverage. If today, after this conviction, Rahul ji again does a Bharat Jodo, the media will be all over him. So you have to play the media correctly, not play, I'm saying use the media correctly. But they don't do it. That's the problem.
Well, so now we need Rahul Gandhi to play some influencer lifestyle and always carry a battery of cameramen around him.
Correct.
A reaction coming right outside from Surat court. Let's quickly dip in.
The learned judges today consider several aspects. Allow me to first finish in English. मोटिवेशन बताइए।
સાહેબ આજે કોર્ટની અંદર શું પ્રક્રિયા થઈ અને કઈ રીતનું જજમેન્ટ આવ્યું?
સૌથી પહેલા આજરોજ નામદાર અદાલતે જજમેન્ટ આપેલું છે. એ જજમેન્ટની અંદર એમને તમામ કાયદાકીય મુદ્દાને ઉપર આધાર રાખેલો છે. એવું ઠરાવેલું છે કે મારા અસીલ પૂર્ણેશભાઈ મોદી અને મોદી સમાજ એ એગ્રીડ વ્યક્તિ છે, એટલે કે જેને અસર થતી હોય એમની પિટિશન કમ્પ્લેન મેન્ટેનેબલ છે. બીજો મુદ્દો, જ્યારે સમન્સ વગેરે ઇસ્યુ કરવામાં આવેલા એ પ્રોસેસ પણ યોગ્ય રીતે ઇસ્યુ કરવામાં આવેલી છે અને એમાં કોઈ બ્રીચ નથી. ત્રીજી વસ્તુ, લર્નેડ મેજિસ્ટ્રેટ જેમને ઓર્ડર પાસ કર્યો એમને બધા જ મુદ્દાઓનો વ્યવસ્થિત અભ્યાસ કરેલો છે અને ઓર્ડર હાલના તબક્કે યોગ્ય છે. ઉપરાંતમાં જે એપેલન્ટ આરોપી છે એ રેરેસ્ટ ઓફ રેર કેસ કે એક્સેપ્શનલ કેસ સાબિત કરવામાં નિષ્ફળ ગયેલા છે. આ કેસ સમક્ષ એસ્ટાબ્લિશ કરવામાં નિષ્ફળ ગયેલા છે. ઉપરાંતમાં એમની કન્ડક્ટ પણ ધ્યાને લેવામાં આવેલી છે, એની સામે ગુના પેન્ડિંગ છે પણ ધ્યાને લેવામાં આવેલું છે.
We're getting technical difficulties, glitches from the feed that's coming in. We'll try to dip right back.
એ જજમેન્ટ આમાં લાગુ પડતા નથી. અમારા જે જજમેન્ટ છે બધા લાગુ પડે છે તેવું પણ ઠરાવેલું છે. મારો જે મુખ્ય કાયદાકીય મુદ્દો હતો કે કોઈ પણ એમપી કે એમએલએ કે ફંડામેન્ટલ અધિકાર નથી, પણ એ માત્ર કાયદાકીય અધિકાર છે, એટલે કે રેપ્રેઝન્ટેશન ઓફ પીપલ એક્ટ નીચે છે. એ મુદ્દો પણ ધ્યાને લેવામાં આવેલો છે. રેપ્રેઝન્ટેશન ઓફ પીપલ એક્ટમાં જે પ્રોવિઝન છે એ પ્રોવિઝનને પણ ધ્યાને લેવો જોઈએ અને એમપી એમએલએ નું જે કાંઈ પણ એમની કન્ડક્ટ હોય એ રીતે ગવર્ન થાય. આ બધા મુદ્દાઓ ધ્યાને લઈ અને યોગ્ય રીતે ઓર્ડર કરવામાં આવેલો છે. મહત્વના મુદ્દા બંને બાજુ
કયા મહત્વના મુદ્દા હતા કે જે
બંને બાજુના તમામે કરવામાં આવેલો છે અને હજી તો ડિટેલમાં જજમેન્ટ મારા હાથમાં આવશે. આખું અભ્યાસ કરીને પછી આગળ ઉપર કહી શકું. મહત્વના મુદ્દા કે ધીસ ઇઝ નોટ અ રેરેસ્ટ ઓફ રેર કેસ, નોટ એન એક્સેપ્શનલ કેસ. કોર્ટ શુડ બી કેરફુલ while સસ્પેન્ડિંગ the conviction and it should not be passed any mechanically. ઉપરાંતમાં એમનો જે ચૂંટાવાનો અધિકાર છે, મેં આપને જે કીધું એ પ્રમાણે, એ ચૂંટાવાનો અધિકાર એ એમનો કાયદાકીય અધિકાર છે, એ કોઈ કોન્સ્ટિટ્યુશનલ અધિકાર કે કોમન લો રાઇટ નથી. આ બધા મુદ્દા એમને ધ્યાને લીધેલા છે અને એમની સામેના ગુના જે પેન્ડિંગ છે, એમની કન્ડક્ટ વગેરે વગેરે. Now I am just sharing the English. You just go on with that. हिंदी में ऑल राइट. टुडे आज कोर्ट ने अपना फैसला सुनाया है और ये कोर्ट का जो फैसला है उसमें उन्होंने कायदाकीय और फैक्ट्स के जितने भी पॉइंट्स थे वो सारे उन्होंने डिस्कस किए हुए. दोनों ओर से जो भी आर्ग्यूमेंट हुई उसमें उल्लेख है. उसका नतीजा ये है कि जो मेरे क्लाइंट है पूर्णेश मोदी, ही इज एन एग्रीड पर्सन. वो कंप्लेन करने के लिए कॉम्पिटेंट है. जो मोदी समाज है वो कंप्लेन करने के लिए कॉम्पिटेंट है. दूसरा जो मुद्दा है ये है कि जो प्रोसेस इश्यू हुई थी वो सही तरीके से हुई है, उसमें कोई इरेगुलरिटी नहीं है जिससे कि ट्रायल विशिएट हो. ये दो टेक्निकल पॉइंट थे, उनका जवाब दिया हुआ है. तीसरा जो उन लोगों का पॉइंट था रेरेस्ट ऑफ रेर केस, तो उसके बारे में भी कोर्ट ने सही तरीके से सारे जजमेंट के ऊपर आधार रख के उन्होंने डिस्कशन किया हुआ है कि दिस इज नॉट अ रेरेस्ट ऑफ रेर केस कि जिसमें कन्विक्शंस को सस्पेंड किया जा सके. ये तीसरा मुद्दा है. चौथा मुद्दा कंडक्ट ऑफ द एक्यूज. ही इज बीइंग एमपी नीड टू बी मोर केयरफुल. और उन्होंने जो कोर्ट के समक्ष उनका जो व्यवहार था, जो उनके क्रिमिनल उनके सामने केसेस है, वो भी डिस्कस किया हुआ है. प्लस मेरा एक कायदाकीय मुद्दा ये था कि कोई भी एमएलए या एमपी, उनको राइट टू बी इलेक्टेड, वो उनका कोई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल या कॉमन लॉ राइट नहीं है. ज्यादा से ज्यादा रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल एक्ट के तहत ये उनका राइट है, तो उससे वो ज्यादा कुछ क्लेम नहीं कर सकते हैं. ये भी कोर्ट ने मुद्दा कंसिडर किया हुआ है. एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू सस्पेंशन ऑफ द कन्विक्शन, ऑल दिस पॉइंट आर रिलेवेंट, दैट इज टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन. दिस इज द ऑर्डर.
सर ये
इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट करने की जो राइट बोला था राहुल गांधी लॉयर्स एक्सेप्ट दिस इज अ वायलेशन ऑफ हिज राइट्स एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू
वो उन्होंने बोला था, उसके लिए हमारी ओर से
सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट्स रखे गए थे कि ये कोई एक्सेप्शनल सर्कमस्टांस नहीं होता है। बीइंग एमएलए एमपी और उनका राइट टू बी इलेक्टेड, वो कोई ऐसा एक्सेप्शनल केस में नहीं आता है, इरिवर्सिबल सिचुएशन में वो नहीं आता है। और हमारा एक मुद्दा ये था कि अगर कोई एडवोकेट गलती करता है तो उनकी सनद सस्पेंड हो सकती है, डॉक्टर गलती करता है उनकी सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ प्रैक्टिस सस्पेंड होता है, गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट कुछ गलत करता है तो उनकी जॉब चली जाती है। वैसे ही अगर एमपी के सामने कोई कन्विक्शन होता है तो उनका एमपी का डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन होगा। इसमें देयर इज नथिंग विच इज एक्सेप्शनल।
सर, हाईकोर्ट में इसको चैलेंज करने की बात कर रही है सर। हाईकोर्ट में इसको
संतुष्ट है क्या पुनेश भाई? आज जो फैसला आया, जिस तरीके की चीजें हो रही थी उस पर संतुष्टि है क्या?
हमने पहले से बोला हुआ है कि जो कायदा की जो भी प्रक्रिया है हम उनका पूरा मान सम्मान करते हैं। वो जो भी कायदा सुनाना है वो जज का काम है, वो कोर्ट का काम है, वो हमारा काम नहीं है। हमारा काम था कंप्लेन करना, केस को चलाना, उसके बाद यहाँ पे दलील करना, आर्ग्यूमेंट करना, वो हमने कर दिया है। और वी आर वेरी हैप्पी विथ आवर आर्ग्यूमेंट्स, विथ आवर कंप्लेन एंड एवरीथिंग। कोर्ट ने अपना काम कर दिया, कोर्ट का जजमेंट है, वो ऑलवेज इट इज टू बी रिस्पेक्टेड बाय ऑल।
गुजरात हाई कोर्ट जा रहे हैं कांग्रेस के लोग और राहुल गांधी, उनका कहना है कि जजमेंट हाथ में लेकर गुजरात हाई कोर्ट जाएंगे और वहां पर ये सजा को फिर से अपील करेंगे। तो आपकी दलील वहां पर भी उसी तरीके की होगी? किस तरीके?
मुझे पता नहीं है कि वो जा रहे हैं, मैंने तो नहीं सुना है, आप लोगों से पहली बार सुन रहा हूँ। वो जाएंगे तब जो भी होगा उनको, वो वहाँ पे क्या मुद्दा करते हैं उसके ऊपर मैं दलील करूंगा। अभी से कुछ नहीं कह सकते। उनकी अपील रिवीजन जो भी वो कर रहे हैं वो एक बार करने दो। उनके अगर वो कोर्ट नोटिस निकालेगी तो वहाँ पे जाएंगे, नोटिस का जवाब देंगे, फिर देखेंगे। जो भी अभी से कहना मुश्किल है। सस्पेंशन ऑफ सेंटेंस का तो कुछ नहीं, वो तो आज थी कन्विक्शन पे। सस्पेंशन ऑफ सेंटेंस का तो पहले ही डिसाइड हो चुका है 3 तारीख को, दैट इज ऑलरेडी डन। आई थिंक आज कुछ ये नहीं है। आज शायद उन्होंने एग्जाम्पशन की एप्लीकेशन डाली होगी कि आज उनको पर्सनली कोर्ट के समक्ष हाजिर होने से उनको मुक्ति चाहिए, ये उन्होंने किया होगा। पता नहीं है, मुझे पता नहीं है, आप जो बोल रहे हो तो ये हो सकता है।
सर, अब अगला हियरिंग कब होगा? क्योंकि अभी जो अपील है राहुल गांधी की वो तो
I may just explain. See, it would be easy. Kindly consider. See, अगला हियरिंग कब होगा ये तो सारी कोर्ट पे बात है। तारीख है यहाँ पे, तारीख जो कोर्ट ने दी हुई 28 ऑफ मई। तो उस दिन क्या होगा वो अभी से बोलना मुश्किल है, वो तो उसी वक्त पता चलेगा। Now English?
Yes, please.
All right. See, the court has delivered the verdict today. Today the court has delivered the verdict on the application under section 389 subclause 1 to suspend the conviction, and the court has taken into consideration the arguments advanced by both the sides at length at that point of time on 13th, and the court has essentially come to the conclusion. I may just give the green pass. Number 1, that the complainant Punesh Bhai Modi and the community, complainant Punesh Bhai Modi and the community, they have the locus, they are the agreed person to file the complaint. Number 2, the process is issued properly. There is no illegality into that. Lower court has passed the proper order, just legal and proper order. There is no infirmity at this stage. Further, the appellant, convict, has failed to establish any rarest of rare case or the exceptional circumstances. Court has also taken into consideration the judgment of the Supreme Court which were advanced by us, as well as the judgment of the Honorable Gujarat High Court, that when it comes to MLA MP, they should be careful and they cannot claim any exceptional circumstances merely on the basis of they being MLA or MP. They should be treated at par with all the citizens of India. This is one of the consideration. Further, there is one more aspect, the legal issue which we have raised. Right to be elected is not a constitutional or common law right, but it is a legal right that is under the Representation of People Act. At the best, that is also taken into consideration. Under the Representation of People Act, there are certain guidelines, certain criteria about the moral and standard of MLA and MP for qualification, disqualification. That is also taken into consideration. Court has also taken into consideration the conduct of the accused, his status, and several other aspects which are necessary to decide any application under section 389, subclause 1, that is for suspension of the conviction.
So what can we expect now? What is the next date of hearing in the appeal process, and what
As
is the...
you have told me that the next date before the court is 28th of May, so we can't say anything what would happen.
Thank you.
So what would happen on 20th of May? Whether they will go for
I
appeal
can't
or...
say anything.
Right now we
I
cannot
can't say.
Right now
We can't say whether to go for appeal or not. That is their choice, not our choice. We have performed our duty as a responsible citizen of the country. We have put up our case.
Thank you.
Well, so not the rarest of the rarest cases. An MP's conduct is under question here. He needs to be careful. In this case, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, the MLAs and MPs have the right to be elected under the Representation of People's Act, but that also the conditions under those have been satisfied. The conviction, the lawyer over there appearing for Purnesh Modi gave us the doctor example. When the doctor falters, you take away their certificate. In a similar case happens with this member of parliament as well. But has this unfortunate pivot come at a happy time for Rahul Gandhi? Let's take this question to Professor Chambi Puranik with us on the broadcast, political analyst. Professor Puranik, how are you looking at the developments that are coming out of Surat? Do you think it is an unfortunate pivot, but it comes at a happy time, given that his credibility could take a boost if he's outside the parliament, maybe?
Yeah, Rahul Gandhi is given to this kind of dramatics or, outbursts, which perhaps, he knows well, because I have also interacted with him in 2019 Lok Sabha elections when he came to Bangalore. There was a closed door meeting, and that's where at length I debated and asked him, are you going to be a prime ministerial candidate? That was the first time he said, why not? If my party gets majority, I will. And I will catch you after 2019, etc., etc. But that never happened. But still, Rahul Gandhi is given to this kind of whatever the victim card, or you can say the popular kind of image he wants to build and all, which has definitely, Rahul Gandhi is not an ordinary person. But the way the lawyer explained about the conviction case and the kind of exemptions that he has sought and all that, it's a legal thing, but you and me, we can only go by the kind of verdict that court gives and the interpretation and all that. But one thing, Rahul Gandhi has an advantage. As you said, there is an advantage for him, because he can play this victim card, saying that, look, I have been wrongly convicted, and my membership has been removed, and immediately they have taken a series of actions to vacate me from the house and all that. So the public definitely will feel sorry for or sad for Rahul Gandhi. One. Number two, Rahul Gandhi himself, is capable of committing such errors or blunders or the kind of statements which don't justify later when he tries to justify or defend them. For example, the case of Savarkar. He said Savarkar can ask apology, not Gandhi's. This kind of broad kind of image he wants to project. I think that's where he gets into trouble and all that. But as you said, I do agree that during election period, Rahul Gandhi likes to be in the limelight and also play the victim card. Not
Professor Puranik, is he even playing the victim card right? That's the question people are asking. Consistency is such a huge problem with Rahul Gandhi. Now, if the victim card, if the perception of him being a martyr is working out for the Congress party, especially for the in the case of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, is he even playing that card right? That's the question many people are asking now.
No, I don't think he's playing it that right. All that
because I'll tell you what, people are already more, they're more sympathetic about the fact that Arvind Kejriwal, he's getting more sympathy with 2 ministers already in jail, and now he's getting CBI summons. He's getting more sympathy than Rahul Gandhi, somebody who's already disqualified.
Yeah, I don't like to compare Kejriwal with Rahul Gandhi. Kejriwal is known for such dramatics or optics, which is well known, catapulting himself from Anna Hazara's movement to the capital and trying to assure people an alternative. There is no ideology as such. There's some kind of legitimized freebies which perhaps middle class and the other sections which are hard hit by the inflation, etc. They would like to welcome it also.
All right.
And, they know it. After casting their vote once, I mean, for 5 years, nearly 4 years and 9, 10 months, the MLA or anybody is not
Right,
answerable.
Professor Puranik,
So therefore,
do stay on with us. Do stay on with us. Tehseen Poonawala, before we let you go, your final comments. What next for Rahul Gandhi? Even as we wait for that 4 p.m. presser, usually Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Jairam Ramesh talking us through the strategy that the Congress party is going to undertake. What kind of legal options, what kind of political options does Rahul Gandhi have at his disposal now? You've, quite eloquently put forth the problems Rahul Gandhi is going through. I'm of the opinion, considering from what you said, resonating from that particular point, he needs to be, moving around with the battery of cameramen, recording everything that he's doing, and of course, for political optics.
No, it's not about political optics. It's just about also the perception that's been wrongly attributed or attacked on him. But to your larger answer, what is his legal and political options? Legal option is he has to move the Honorable Gujarat High Court, which he will. Political options is this fight, political fight has to go to the streets, and you'll have to raise this issue with the citizens of India, who I think there is empathy and sympathy for Rahulji. But let me quickly react to what the professor was saying. Look, Rahul Gandhi, as per the professor, may be arrogant, maybe indulging in tricks, maybe indulging in trying to get attention. None of this is reason for conviction. The conviction is simply based on a statement made in Karnataka in a political rally. This does not deserve conviction. This conviction, for the maximum conviction, has happened only second time since this law has been enacted, which is terrible, and it's the first time since independence. Third, all procedures which the opposition lawyer, opposition to Rahulji, was speaking about, in my opinion, there are several Supreme Court judgments that say all procedures of the Honorable, adapted by the Honorable Sessions Court, have been violated as guidelines put by the Honorable Supreme Court. So I am of the firm opinion Rahulji will get relief. In my opinion, in the Honorable Supreme Court, he will get relief. But I think it's a larger question that in political discourse, when you make attacks on each other, which are political attacks, if people are going to be convicted for that, then democracy won't remain in this country. Now, let's just look at the ramifications. Politicians have been making hate speech, particularly Bharatiya Janata Party politicians. The most honorable Prime Minister, I complained against him, made a speech saying, Dangayon ko kapdon se pehchana jata hai. Shamshan Kabristan. They continue to be in political life. And somebody who's made a legitimate speech about corruption is being attributed to a community when Lalit Modi ji and Nirav Modi ji are not part of the OBC community. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. If the Honorable Prime Minister was hurt by that speech, he has a right to a defamation case, not somebody staying in Gujarat, Mr. Modi, who's an ex-BJP MLA. This is terrible. It's terrible how defamation law was used, in my opinion. And it's not right. It's not right for democracy. But that's the way it is. Hate speeches. Tell me who's convicted for hate speech so far? And in the hate speech, the Supreme Court, in my judgment, Tehseen Poonawala versus Union of India, has laid down guidelines on hate speech. Nothing is happening there. Hate speech after hate speech. Pragya Thakur ji made a hate speech in Karnataka. What happened? Nothing. I was speaking to the SP, saying this is a hate speech, saying, and this is true. They gave the guidelines in my case by the Supreme Court. And the SP tells me on phone, sir, we all understand that, but I will not file an FIR against Pragya Thakur ji. I don't accept your digital signature. I have to send Congress people to physically file an FIR because he wasn't ready to accept my digital signature. He wanted my digital signature in physical. This is the SP in Karnataka. That's how it is. So that's not right. It's not a level playing field. Rahulji does, for all his mistakes, does not deserve to be suspended. This is wrong. He doesn't deserve to be convicted. You can fault him, but this is not the way.
Well, the semantics and the foundation of the case, Tehseen, is something that has been debated. People are already talking about how, we're doing away with various colonial era laws. Why not defamation? In the other countries, you have a civil suit. Here, it's a proper criminal case. Do you think this particular point is going to be part of Congress's arsenal when they're fighting this particular case now and moving the Gujarat High Court as well?
To a larger debate, yes. Should democracy even have a criminal defamation? Yes, it will play it could be a defense. And yes, I mean, if Mr. Modi was, Pranish Modi, the complainant was defamed, he had to show grounds on how he was defamed. How did it affect him personally? He's not made those grounds. It seems more like an attack on Rahulji. See, in political speeches, we've heard political speeches, Gali Gali mein shor hai, Rajiv Gandhi chor. When I was a kid, you didn't go about putting people in defamation cases. Look at the attacks on Rajiv ji during Bofors. Ultimately, all 4 courts gave him a clean sheet for international courts. He didn't file defamation cases. Look at the 2G case. Look at other cases. So political attacks on opponents will happen. You will say they're corrupt, they're this. And if an opponent is affected, like when Arun Jaitley ji was affected by Arvind Kejriwal ji or others, they moved court. They have a legitimate right to move court. You can't have anyone and everyone moving court. Tomorrow, for example, if I were to say, look, there is corruption in media, it doesn't give you, Kabir, with respect to you, the right to move court and put me in defamation and a criminal defamation. So this is very, very wrong. This precedent is very wrong. And you're convicting people for maximum term. If Rahulji would have been convicted for 1 year and 29 days, his MPship would not have been lost. You think the people of this great country don't understand the politics behind it, that an ex-BJP MP is moved for, MLA is moved for? He's pressurizing Rahulji. Is not a member of Gujarat. The speech is not a resident of Gujarat. The speech was made in Karnataka. Where does this leave our country in democracy? How vulnerable are politicians? And one day, the shoe will change. Then what will happen? This is not how political battles should be fought. It's wrong for democracy.
Well, you know what they say, things always make sense in retrospect. Maybe, Captain, retrospect in a couple of years from now, we'll be looking back at this particular case and what it has done to criminal defamation and how defamation is being looked at. But, you know, even as we began this discussion, Tehseen, we'd already surpassed the fact that the decision, I'm not going to use the word overturned, is going to be different when the higher courts are approached. And hence we, you know, overlooked that particular facet and spoke about what next, because it is a crucial year. So many crucial assembly elections and in the run-up to the 2024 elections as well. Before you go, a final brief word. Rahul Gandhi, 2024 optics, what's the road ahead like? It already seems like he's taking one step forward and 3 steps back.
No, he's not. But I always tell him and Congress, think like the BJP if you defeat the BJP. You see, on Sunday, Rahulji was supposed to speak in Kolar, where he made the first Modi speech which got him convicted and start the Karnataka campaign. What happened that day? Miraculously, on a Sunday, the CBI summoned Arvind Kejriwal. It's another matter. Saturday night, Atik was killed, and then that became the headlines. But look at the management. On Sunday, when Rahulji was going to speak in Karnataka, and all of you media would have been there, it would be his first political speech in Kolar after the conviction. Arvind Kejriwal was summoned, a sitting chief minister, on Sunday by the CBI. Like CBI didn't have any other day to summon it, because the idea was the media focus would get diverted. Of course, CBI will reject it, but हम तो जानते हैं जन्नत की हकीकत दिल को खुश रखने के लिए गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है. So you know how it works. So look at how the BJP plans. It thinks 3 steps ahead. The Congress needs to not be reactive. My advice to them is be aggressive, be assertive, but be assertive in a Nehruvian way. Be assertive with logic. Be assertive with articulation. Be assertive with solutions. Right now, Rahulji does not realize the amount of empathy and sympathy people have for him at this moment. And he's riding a certain high after Bharat Jodo. He must politically use that to reach out to the people of this great nation. The people of this great country deserve a very good opposition. And I think the Congress is duty bound to provide that for. That's my advice to them.
Well, I agree. I was visiting a college campus. Let's not be taking names here. Spoke to a couple of students and, you know, spoke about the politics in the run-up to the 2024 elections. And many of them, you know, supporting Rahul Gandhi say, I like that he's fit and he wears nice clothes. I mean, that's what the urban youth is also now looking towards as well. But all of that fact is at play. Of course, we'll have to wait and watch what happens at 4 p.m. when that press briefing happens. Tehseen, many thanks for joining with us and helping us out.
Thank you, Kabir.
With your insightful inputs. Professor Puranik continues to be with us here on the broadcast. Professor Chambi Puranik, the optics at play, Rahul Gandhi, the Congress party, Karnataka elections, various other elections as well, Chhattisgarh as well, Telangana later on this year, 2024 right up next year. Do you think the Congress party, with the push and pull it is trying to implement in Karnataka, it is a step in the right direction?
Well, you know, Congress party definitely...
Well, Mr. Puranik, Professor Puranik, I'm so sorry, I'm going to have to cut you short here again. Do stay on with us. Sambit Patra, he's addressing the media, BJP word. Let's quickly dip into that.
ट्रायल कोर्ट का जजमेंट आया था तो राहुल गांधी, गांधी परिवार, कांग्रेस के लोग और एक इकोसिस्टम जो कांग्रेस के साथ रहती है, इन सब ने मिलकर एक ऐसा माहौल बनाया कि ये ट्रायल कोर्ट में कुछ गड़बड़ी थी. ये ट्रायल कोर्ट के जज और ट्रायल कोर्ट का पूरा जो सिस्टम था, कहीं ना कहीं वो बायस था. उन्होंने पक्षपात किया और राहुल गांधी को ट्रायल कोर्ट ने फंसाने की कोशिश की। राहुल गांधी का कोई इतना बड़ा जुर्म नहीं था। क्या हो गया अगर उसने ओबीसी समाज को गाली देने का काम किया? क्या हो गया अगर पिछड़े वर्ग को उसने चोर कह दिया? तो ये इतना बड़ा कोई जुर्म नहीं था, कहीं ना कहीं एक साजिश थी। दिस वॉज डेथ ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी इन इंडिया। और उसके कारण से सूरत के ट्रायल कोर्ट ने इस प्रकार का एक वर्डिक्ट राहुल गांधी के खिलाफ सुनाया और नतीजा रहा कि राहुल गांधी आने वाले समय में इंडिया के पार्लियामेंट से एक तरह से डिस्क्वालीफाई हुए और वो कानून भी उनके समय बनाया हुआ कानून था। मगर आज जब अपीलिएट कोर्ट से जजमेंट आता है तो एक बात स्पष्ट होता है कि दिस वाज नॉट डेथ ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी ऑफ इंडिया, दिस इज अ ब्लो ऑन द एरोगेंस ऑफ द गांधी फैमिली। ये लोकतंत्र समाप्त नहीं हुआ है, ये जो घमंड है गांधी परिवार का और खास करके राहुल गांधी का, उसके ऊपर एक बहुत बड़ा आघात है कोर्ट के माध्यम से। अपीलिएट कोर्ट को भी लगा कि देयर इज अ मेरिट। जिस प्रकार से पिछड़े वर्ग के खिलाफ, ओबीसी समाज के खिलाफ गाली गलौज करने का काम राहुल गांधी और उसके बाद राहुल गांधी को सपोर्ट करते हुए कांग्रेस पार्टी ने किया था, अपीलिएट कोर्ट कन्विंस होती है कि इसमें मेरिट है जो ट्रायल कोर्ट ने किया था और राहुल गांधी जी के सेंटेंसिंग को कम नहीं किया जा सकता या उसे स्टे नहीं किया जा सकता। यह बहुत बड़ी बात है हिंदुस्तान के न्यायिक प्रणाली में। बंधुगण, राहुल गांधी जी को सेंटेंसिंग होने के पश्चात पूरे कांग्रेस पार्टी ने एक मोबिलाइजेशन किया था। गली गली में, नुक्कड़ नुक्कड़ में जो कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता थे वो राहुल गांधी जी के मोबिलाइजेशन के कारण न्यायपालिका पर ठहर ठहर कर आक्रमण कर रहे थे। केवल हिंदुस्तान में ही नहीं, विदेशों के माध्यम से दूसरे देशों से हिंदुस्तान के खिलाफ स्टेटमेंट जारी कराने का काम भी कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता रह रह के करा रहे थे। एक इकोसिस्टम पूरी की पूरी इंडिया की जुडिशियरी के खिलाफ लग गई थी। और आज जब यह जजमेंट आया है, मैं कहूंगा दिस इज द विक्ट्री ऑफ द कॉमन पीपल ऑफ इंडिया। यह साधारण जनता के लिए तो विजय का उत्सव है ही, पिछड़े वर्ग के लिए विजय का उत्सव है ही, यह न्यायपालिका के लिए भी एक बहुत बड़ा विजय है। क्योंकि जिस न्यायपालिका के खिलाफ सड़कों पर आंदोलन करके मोबिलाइजेशन करने का काम कांग्रेस पार्टी कर रही थी, आज उसी न्यायपालिका ने कहा कि आप कितना भी दबाव या प्रेशर की राजनीति हमारे ऊपर करने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं, मगर वी डोंट बकल अंडर प्रेशर। आपके प्रेशर टैक्टिक्स के कारण, आपके दबाव की राजनीति के कारण न्यायपालिका झुकती नहीं है। जो अन्याय है वो अन्याय है। इतना ही नहीं, आपने देखा था उनके जो नेता हैं कांग्रेस पार्टी के, राज्यसभा के अंदर कई बार के सांसद रहे हैं, प्रमोद तिवारी जी, वो तो 2 कदम आगे निकलकर और कह रहे थे कि ये तो गांधी परिवार के लड़के हैं, ये राहुल गांधी केवल साधारण मनुष्य नहीं है, ये साधारण हिंदुस्तानी नहीं है, ये तो गांधी परिवार का सदस्य है, उनके नाम में गांधी लगा हुआ है, इसलिए द लॉ शुड ट्रीट हिम डिफरेंटली। कानून इनको भिन्न करके इनके साथ वर्ताव करना चाहिए था। न्यायालय को इस प्रकार 2 वर्ष का जेल नहीं सुनाना चाहिए था, क्योंकि ये राहुल गांधी हैं। ये कोई और होते तो ठीक है भैया, तुम 2 साल के जेल में जाओ, हमें क्या जा रहा है, मगर राहुल गांधी हैं, इसलिए गांधी परिवार के लिए एक दूसरा मानदंड हो, गांधी परिवार के लिए कानून दूसरी परिभाषित हो। देयर शुड बी अ सेपरेट लॉ फॉर द गांधी फैमिली। यहां तक डिमांड उनके मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट ने किया था, प्रमोद तिवारी जी ने किया था। यह पब्लिक डोमेन में मौजूद है। और आज के इस जजमेंट से एक बात स्पष्ट होता है कि इस देश में संविधान का राज है, परिवार का राज नहीं है, और किसी भी परिवार के लिए प्रेफरेंशियल ट्रीटमेंट नहीं हो सकता है, उसे अलग दृष्टिकोण से देखा जाएगा। ऐसा ट्रीटमेंट किसी भी परिवार के लिए नहीं हो सकता है। बंधुगण, आज हार 2 एंटिटीज की हुई है, 2 ऐसे मानदंड है जिनका हार हुआ है। एरोगेंस ऑफ द गांधी फैमिली, गांधी परिवार के घमंड का आज हार हुआ है, और दूसरा ये जो पूरा का पूरा इकोसिस्टम है गांधी परिवार के डिफेंस में जो उतरता है सड़कों पर, उसमें कांग्रेसी तो हैं, क्योंकि वो कांग्रेसी तो पार्टी के लोग हैं, मगर कुछ बहुत बड़े बड़े लोग ऐसे देश और विदेश में बैठे हुए हैं जिनको हम इकोसिस्टम कह सकते हैं, जो तुरंत गांधी परिवार के एरोगेंस के डिफेंस में निकल आते हैं कि जो राहुल गांधी के साथ हो रहा है ये उचित नहीं है। आज ये हार इस इकोसिस्टम का भी है। मैं कहूंगा कि आज जो हुआ है राहुल गांधी के साथ, जिस समय ये पूरा जजमेंट सूरत के ट्रायल कोर्ट ने सुनाया था, उस समय भी सूरत के ट्रायल कोर्ट ने राहुल गांधी को कोर्ट के परिसर में अपने समक्ष ये मौका दिया था कि राहुल जी, अभी भी समय है, यदि आप हाथ जोड़ के माफी मांग लें ओबीसी समाज से कि आपने गलत किया है, आपने सही नहीं किया है, तो हम विचार करेंगे। राहुल जी, आपने कहा था मैं तो राहुल गांधी हूं, देयर इज नथिंग कॉल्ड अ सॉरी इन माय डिक्शनरी। अरे राहुल जी, कान पकड़ के उठक बैठक करके आपने सुप्रीम कोर्ट में माफी मांगी थी, तो आप ये मत बोलिए कि आपकी डिक्शनरी में सॉरी शब्द नहीं है। अभी भी मौका है, अहंकार को त्यागिए, त्यजिए अहंकार को, और देश के सामने ओबीसी वर्ग से क्षमा याचना करिए कि जो मैंने किया गलत किया, मुझे ये नहीं करना चाहिए था।
Well, also joining us on the broadcast is Lieutenant Commander Gokul. But first, let's quickly cut across to Professor Chambi Puranik, who's been patiently waiting, and we have been too, for your opinion, sir. Professor, you also heard Samvid Patra over there. He says that it's the arrogance of Rahul Gandhi and actually not the death of democracy. It's death of Rahul Gandhi's arrogance, who thinks he's above the law. He needs a special law book just for himself, the Gandhi Parivar, the Gandhi family.
Now, when the court has given a judgment, and when you were interacting with Tessin, and I also referred to my some important observations about Rahul Gandhi's arrogance or the kind of irresponsibility he has in making statements and comparing these things to the kind of Savarkar level and all that. That itself shows he has no sense of proportion. That is the problem. Second thing I wanted to ask, in which you can also just kind of focus on that. Why Rahul Gandhi did not think of tendering an apology? Was there a kind of deliberate advice given to him by his battery of lawyers? The Congress is known for such legal luminaries being behind Congress, as well as Rahul Gandhi per se. Now, why he didn't do it? So this itself gives a scope for a kind of suspicion to say that Rahul Gandhi wanted some issue or the other to be there, because Congress has been losing state after state, and then it is not in a position to lead the entire opposition. Even the united opposition, which Congress party wanted to lead because of its legacy and also the need for democracy to have such a strong opposition in the parliament, or even from the point of view of the health of democracy and all that. So I think he has been wrongly advised. See, in the past he has tendered apology. Here it's a slur against a community. Definitely say this, some Modis are forward communities, they are not taken. And that is, I think court has not taken into consideration these things. These are all afterthoughts. So therefore, I think Rahul Gandhi has deliberately invited. It is a self-goal, knowing fully well such kind of comments which he has been making inside the parliament and outside the parliament. When somebody catches him through the recourse to law and all that, it's very difficult to get out of it also. Look at the consequences. I agree with Tessin saying that, this is harsh also. Definitely it is harsh, but it's left to the discretion of the judge. Probably the judge must have sensed that this is the time to warn politicians of a kind of such a high profile and background or inheritance and all that, that all are equal before the law. So the law has taken its own very considered view to say that you have no right to criticize a particular community, be it this or that community. So this itself says that there is a kind of self-goal which Rahul Gandhi is, capable of. Perhaps he may be using it for his other propaganda or electoral purposes, or even to evoke more sympathy from the public and all that. There is sympathy for him, definitely. But the sympathy is not going to convert itself into votes also. Because when people vote, they don't think of this Gujarat judgment against Rahul and all. All that they say is,
Professor
when
Puranik,
he says, now he is concentrating Adani, not on
Professor Puranik,
Modi or
The last time a player deliberately made a self goal was in order to leave the team. Now Rahul Gandhi, as far as the Congress is concerned, is the only team member, the only player on there, the poster boy for the Congress party. Lieutenant Commander Gokul also with us. Lieutenant Commander, Professor Puranik here, talking about how maybe him tendering an apology could have helped. What's your take on that? Would it have hurt his, image per se? And, what Professor Puranik is also talking about, a harsh judgment does not necessarily mean it's a wrong judgment.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. See, the professor was talking about the apology. Earlier, he had tendered apology. Yeah, he earlier tendered apology because the court gave it as a punishment. That was a court verdict on which Mr. Rahul Gandhi made an apology. It's not because he consciously made that, or he had a guilt feeling of what he told. He didn't tender an apology for that. In this case also, court has not given an option. Has the court given an option? Okay, you tender apology, you'll be left scot-free. No, the court has not told that. Then whom to apologize and to why to apologize? Because clearly Mr. Rahul Gandhi, whatever he said, again take his statement, why all these thieves are having Modi as surname? That's what he asked. He didn't say why all Modis are thieves. So there is a lot of difference between what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said and what it is being made of. And see, since the case started, since the case was listed in Gujarat, we know very well that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is not going to get a justice. We know very well. That's why know very well the judges. I don't want to comment. I am not against the judiciary, but yes, I am against the judges who are getting some favor or the other. You know, who is the present judge? Who was he earlier? What was he doing earlier? And even the other court judge, what favors he got once he gave this 2-year sentence. We all know that. So in Parliament itself, take the number of MPs who are having criminal records and who are given hate speeches. The people who have planted bomb in front of a mosque is sitting as a MP, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi, for his innocent remark, which he didn't mean, and the whole world knows that it is a political vendetta. He has to lose his the qualification as MP and he has to sit out. That's how the Indian democracy is working nowadays, and it is very bad for Indian democracy. Tomorrow, anyone, see, now the only thing is that, see, they don't want to put him in jail. They know once they put him in jail, then the issue will settle and Mr. Rahul Gandhi will gain something out of it. The only aim is that he shouldn't enter Parliament and attend another Parliament session, because that was the blow he gave against Mr. Adani and Modi in Parliament. And Mr. Adani must have been very upset, and he must have, the master must have told his people, see, I don't want to see him again in Parliament. Do whatever you want, spend whatever amount you want, but I don't want to see Rahul Gandhi in Parliament again. That is what Adani must have told his people.
Lieutenant Commander, the larger multitude, what you're talking about and where you're coming from, do you think that idea is really trickling down to the larger multitude, to the grassroots level? For them, it's just another blow for Rahul Gandhi.
No, of course, see, not allowing someone to attend the Parliament, you know the impact that Rahul Gandhi's speech made after he exposed the deal between Adani and Modi in Parliament, in Lok Sabha. It was a huge deal. It was a huge blow to the government, and people started taking note of it.
Right.
So they wanted to prevent such another incident inside Lok Sabha. So they have well planned and crafted it that Mr. Rahul Gandhi should not enter Parliament again, because they know on any bill or any debate, this can be easily brought in, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi is going to speak again, and it is going to impact the masses and the voters. So they have decided that Rahul Gandhi never in Lok Sabha again.
Well, right after that questioning, those questions that he'd raised to the Prime Minister, he'd also put out a YouTube video as well. That YouTube video, Lieutenant Commander also did really well. Professor Puranik, do you think Rahul Gandhi, in his 8 years of potential absence from, contesting any kind of election, he could take the social media route? That's where he could, dent the Bharatiya Janata Party, make real damage?
Now, before I make such serious observations, I would like to just differ from our Lieutenant Colonel who said that the presence of Rahul Gandhi in Lok Sabha would have made Adani issue a real issue to clinch against PM Modi, who has clean record or image and something like that. That doesn't prevent the other political parties or opposition members to raise that issue. Maybe Parliament is stalled and the debate has not been allowed and all that. That's okay. But when time comes, nobody can suppress facts also. If Adani has been favored illegally by the present government at the center, definitely records will be there. Nobody can tamper with records. Now, alluring back to the case of Rahul Gandhi being the prime of the kind of representative who takes the cases in the Lok Sabha and debates on that, which will make an impact, a bigger impact, or make difference and all that. I think it's a far-fetched kind of argument. So that's one point. Second, now if God forbid that he is debarred for 6 years and plus 2 years and all that, but he still has got the avenues to appeal and all that. And you never know higher courts and the Supreme Court how they look into it also. Normally, in cases of People's Representation Act, the courts are very, very clear, because at the lower level, the trial has been conducted on the basis of evidence and the kind of arguments put forward by both for and against and all that. So that is there. But one thing, if Rahul Gandhi is out of Parliament, he will be more a kind of, having the courage or whatever, the kind of enthusiasm to attack the BJP party, and also come out with many, many other issues, which perhaps he may say for the purpose of public debate and discourse, he may try to create a public opinion against the government, saying that, look, I am a victim for that. And I would have, taken lead in this kind of debate and fixed the present government at the center and Prime Minister Modi per se. So that opportunity I have missed. So therefore, I am not in a position to do that. So I want you, public, to support my party, support the opposition, or support whoever.
Yeah, absolutely. All those options in front of Rahul Gandhi, all of that at his disposal. Gentlemen, Professor Puranik and Lieutenant Commander Gokul, we've completely run out of time. It has been a riveting conversation. Many thanks for joining with us. Of course, pertinent points being raised there by our panelists. The lawyer's reaction from outside the Surat court, he says it's not the rarest of the rare cases. An MP needs to be careful of what he says, where he says. The MLAs and MPs' right to be elected is a representation of People's Act, which is tightly knit. That and legalities around that particular act have been satisfied in the Sessions Court. It has upheld the lower court's verdict on Rahul Gandhi. That's as far as the conviction goes. But is this unfortunate pivot come at a happy time for Rahul Gandhi, even as the BJP says that it's the death of Rahul Gandhi's and the Gandhi family's arrogance, not the democracy? Is this really the victory of the OBC and the larger multitude at large? We'll have to wait and find out. 4 p.m. is when that Congress briefing is going to happen. We're going to slip into a quick break here. Content continues right on the other side. Keep it with News 9.